We've already checked out the Leica shoes, which were the Coraline Dunks, the Paranorman Foams, and the Box Troll Roshis. In this video, I want to check out the shoes inspired by Pixar. We've got the Buzz Lightyear Vandal Low GS's. These shoes were also made for preschoolers, but they were never made for men. And this is the only pair of shoes inspired by any Pixar character. Now, it's no surprise that Nike went crazy with the Leica shoes because Phil Knight owns Leica and his son is the president and CEO. They don't have the same kind of ties over at Pixar and Disney, so it's not surprising that there's only been one of these shoes. These Buzz Lightyear Vandals came out in 2007. You can see on the box they retail for $50. I actually picked up a ton of these at Nike outlets back in the day for just 12 bucks. They were $15 and then 20% off, making them $12 plus tax, and I went to town on the grade school ones. Now, check this out. They're actually still available on eBay. I picked up this pair for Natalie just about a week and a half ago. Kids Nike Vandal Low GS, white radiant green plum invisible, $14.99 plus $15 for shipping. You can actually go on eBay right now and search for Nike Vandal GS, and there's a whole bunch of these shoes. Now, there aren't many available as cheap as I bought them for, but they're all under 50 bucks. So if you decide that you want to get a pair of these shoes for your wife or your girl or your kids, they're available. Just search for Vandal GS. If you search for Vandal Buzz Lightyear, the shoes are not going to come up because Buzz Lightyear is a registered trademark, and it's highly likely that the people over at Disney and Pixar would report people for using that name in these shoes because, of course, you know Nike did not pay for the rights to use Buzz Lightyear's persona on these shoes. Now, check them out. The details on these shoes are amazing, and they're not the first clear shoe. We had Invisible Woman Air Force 1s, Espo Air Force 2s. Most recently, Kyrie Irving had a couple pairs of Air Force 1s that are invisible. But it makes sense to do the invisible toe on this shoe. Let's look at it up close right there. Look at that. Beautiful. Because Buzz Lightyear has that helmet right there. But the inspiration doesn't stop with the invisible toe. When you look right here, you got a red, a green, and a blue hole where the shoelaces go through, and they match perfectly with the red, green, and blue little buttons on Buzz. Amazing details on these shoes. Now, interestingly, when you look at the insole on this pair of shoes, check it out. Can you see that in there? That's actually LE, which stands for limited edition. For a while, Nike was putting that logo on the insoles of their limited edition sportswear products. They don't really do it anymore. But if you ever see that on the inside of your shoe, that's why. Anyway, back to the Vandal. Originally, Nike Vandals came out in 1984, and they were a basketball shoe. Now, in the 80s, there were a lot of iconic basketball shoes, but the thing about the Vandal that makes it famous are the straps. There's Vandal Lows and there's Vandal Highs, and both of them have straps on there. I want to use this opportunity to break down some of the basketball shoes with straps from the 80s. So I made a little chart. Check it out. You can see Air Force 1s. They came out in 1982. There's a low, a mid, and a high, and I put check marks next to the ones that have straps. Air Force 1 mids and highs have straps, but the lows don't. You'll see the next line down, 1984, with the Vandal. The lows and the highs have straps. There actually are no Vandal mids. In 1985, Nike came out with the Terminator. Incidentally, Vandals were actually worn in the movie Terminator. But anyway, the Terminator, like the Vandal, comes in a low and a high, not a mid, but the Terminators don't have straps. Now check out in 1985, you've got the Dunk. They made the Dunks in 85 in low and high. It wasn't until Nike SB, which got started in 2002, that they actually made Dunk mids. And they didn't make Dunk mids right away in '02. It took them a couple of years. But Dunk SB mids are the only Dunks with straps. So there you have a real comprehensive breakdown of basketball shoes and then the Dunk SBs. And it shows you which ones have the straps. Anyway, I want to show you a high top Vandal just for the sake of completeness. So let me move the Buzz Lightyear out of the way. And we'll check out the most iconic color, which is the metallic silver and Samba edition. When this shoe first released in 1984, people actually called them moon boots because they resembled the boots that were worn by the astronauts that first walked on the moon. But anyway, this shoe is so beautiful, so iconic. You gotta love that strap right there. It's amazing when it's hanging off, sort of the way that Rasheed Wallace used to wear his Air Force One highs. Anyway, it's been a real pleasure walking you through these shoes. I highly recommend going on eBay, search for Vandal GS, and you can pick up a pair of the Buzz Lightyear shoes for really inexpensive.